Motion Graph Prelab. You should be watching this on Monday, September 22nd, in order to do our lab on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Okay, tomorrow, Tuesday, we will start looking at motion graphs. Your equipment will be motion detectors, the LabQuest units, and yourselves. You will set up your LabQuest unit. You will want to set the unit to record for 10 seconds. We may possibly increase this number, but the process will be the same. From the home screen, you will select Sensors. The home screen is what you get when you first connect the motion detector and it turns on. Okay. From Sensors, it's a drop-down menu. You'll select Data Collection, which should be the second one, and then you set Duration to 10. You don't have to change any other settings. You will have to do this every time you restart the LabQuest unit. So every class period usually is going to have to do this. You may also have to do this mid-class if your unit times out or you have to start it over for any reason. You'll need to set up your motion detector. Behind the fold-out portion, where the actual little detector circle is, if you open that up, you'll see a little switch. You will want to make sure that it is set to the setting that has a person by it. You will need to connect your motion detector to the LabQuest unit. If you have one of the green motion detectors, it plugs into the DIG1 or DIG2 ports. All right, these ones are underneath the little black rubber flap. If you have a black motion detector, it plugs into the USB port on the LabQuest unit. And if your equipment just doesn't want to turn on or whatever, you may find that you have to work with your LabQuest plugged into the wall, especially if it starts running out of batteries, and there is one that's a little bit picky. You will need to have enough space. So you'll want to set your motion detector on one of our lab tables, about a foot or so in from the edge, so the detector circle is perpendicular to the table. So that means facing where you'd actually be walking. You will read through a scenario, and this is in the lab sheet, and you'll make a prediction of what the graph of displacement, well, in this case, position, but if we call the sensor 0, it's the same thing. So, or a graph of velocity. Okay, so you're going to make a prediction of what the graph will look like, and then you're going to draw your prediction. Each scenario has two little graphs, or two little grids, and you will draw your prediction on the left. Once you have drawn your prediction, you will test it by acting out the scenario. Then you will draw your actual graph on the grid to the right. Now, I fully expect that not all your predictions will look like the actual graphs. Remember, it's a prediction, so it's your best guess based on what you already know and what we've learned so far. You may want to use a small whiteboard to hold in front of whomever's walking. This is so that the motion detector has a solid surface. Otherwise, sometimes it picks up the motion of your legs and it'll give you a slightly less smooth set of data than you might want. You're going to try to finish all the lab on Tuesday. However, it is only a 45-minute class, so we will definitely finish up in class on Wednesday in one form or another. There will be a post-lab, either in-class lecture or video lecture, depending on when we finish, talking about motion graphs. And you will have to turn in the lab packet with the completed post-lab page, which is page 8 of the packet. You'll have to turn that bit in on Thursday. Well, the whole thing, but the post-lab you'll have to do at home. If you are absent on Thursday, I know there are some of you that are going to be out for a holiday, on Friday you'll need to turn it in. If you are absent Thursday, there will be no late grade for turning it in on Friday. However, if you're in class, late grade standard policy applies. If you have any questions, please be sure to come prepared to ask them at the beginning of class on Tuesday. And hopefully this will help you get started a little bit more smoothly.